We're doing our afternoon show in the afternoon. Don Geronimo and Mike O'Mara.
Yeah, it is the best of Don and Mike on great radio stations, like Idaho's first radio station, KFXD in Boise, 97.1 The Fox in Ocean City, Maryland, and always entertaining AM 1170 Talk, KCBQ San Diego. Don and Mike should be back in tomorrow, but in this segment, they were talking about the Gotti movie that was on HBO, and it got them thinking about the Mafia and all things mob. And this happened. It's the best of Don and Mike.
Oh, that Gotti movie. God, do I love that guy. Do I love that John Gotti. And I love all of them. I love all those bad guys. I love all those Mafia guys. I love all those wise guys. You know what I was thinking as I was watching that movie last night?
Yes.
I find that lifestyle so intoxicating. All of the glamour of being a Mafia guy.
He got beaten up this week.
Yeah, I am aware of that. Okay. Now, there is a downside to it. Okay?
He's living in about an 8x8 concrete block.
All right, that would be another downside.
Yes, for the rest of his life without the possibility of parole.
However, I think, now listen, there's not a lot of things I do good.
Yes.
But I think that I've got what it takes to be a good Mafia guy, except for the fact that I am such a wuss. I can't stand violence. I've never really been in a fight in my life.
The physical courage aspect is what you... But you know something?
But I've got everything else.
You could be trained. You could be trained. If you put a gun in your hand, and it could be different.
I got the swagger. I love bossing people around. And for goodness sakes, if I could, I'd have people killed in an instant, just like he does. You go, what? Rob took a limo up to the remote in Ocean City? Whack him! Listen, I don't care. Whack him. And you know the other great thing? And this is why I loved watching this HBO movie last night while I was eating. I love the way the Mafia guys eat. They got a big table. They roll up their sleeves.
They got the pasta. They stuff it into their mouths.
And they go at it with their hands. You know what I mean? They're sopping up all the goo with the bread.
Right.
And they're talking about poking guys' eyeballs out and making guys eat lead and standing on guys' faces. And the whole time they're going, hey, this food's great. And they're wearing the suits.
Hey, Johnny.
Listen, I know there's something inherently wrong with it. I know they're bad guys. Yeah. But there's something that's so intoxicating about that whole gangster lifestyle.
I can't disagree with you. You know how I feel about, I've read every book and seen every movie about the gangster, the gangland. But I don't know why I like reading about that. I do like the end result. I like to see it when they all get caught, and especially when they turn on each other. That's what did you feel a sense of remorse when John Gotti eventually went to the big house and he ends up looking at 5 years. 5 years they're gonna wish John Gotti was still here. 5 years as he's looking in the mirror and they fade out and he's there in the prison.
Well, he shouldn't have had all the parties.
Oh, well, he broke the rule. He broke one of the codes. The code, man. You don't go public, John. You don't go public. That's what it is.
I would be such a good Dom. I swear to God, I would be the best Mafia boss. I could be the top guy.
If you're going to be the top guy.
The Don.
Dom Perignon. I'd be the Dom. You know what I mean? I promise you this.
I'd be the tops. I'd be number one. I'd be the main guy.
The Godfather.
I'd love that. Or I'd be a good lieutenant. I'd be a good lieutenant. I'd have to have my own borough, though. I'd have to have my own...
You would be the lieutenant who would eventually overthrow the Don.
Yeah, because you wouldn't last long as lieutenant because you wouldn't be able to kowtow to the Don.
Well, I would if the Don would give me, the space idea. Let's say that the Don says to me...
No way.
Says to me, listen, I really like you. I'm going to give you Fairfax, Virginia.
Nope.
Fairfax is your town. Anything that happens in Fairfax, you think I would want too much? You think I would not be happy with that?
You wouldn't be happy until you control the entire operation.
Do you hear the way I am starting to talk now?
Yeah,
I am starting to talk that way.
There you go. You think you got a problem with that?
Do you think that I would want more land than the Godfather would give me?
You would not be happy in the role of an underboss. You couldn't handle the role of an underboss. You would have to be boss of bosses. That is the only way you'll be able to function. That is the only way you'll be able to play ball. Now, the process would be difficult for you. You would have a hot head because you'd be coming up through the ranks. You'd be coming up through the ranks. And
whack him, whack him, whack him.
First you'll be a soldier, then you'll be a lieutenant, then you'll be an underboss, and then someday maybe you would be blessed to be boss of bosses. Maybe that's what it would be, but I will tell you it would be a difficult fight for you because you would be impatient. Your attention deficit disorder would not allow you to be an underboss for a lengthy period of time. You would want to control the entire family. You would want to be head of the entire family. Otherwise, people are going to get whacked. That's enough of me. Yeah,
The muscle.
The muscle.
The muscle.
Give me a break. Give me a break. I could. You. Hey, lean over, tie your shoe. Yeah. That.
You're sure that's cocktail sauce in the back of your car?
Yeah,
We don't need to call Mr. Wolf or anything.
Man, them gangster movies. And I do think it's important to point out, to be responsible broadcasters,
Well,
that
if you
those
must.
guys, that those guys all either die or end up in jail for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. All right. So there's a slight downside.
I read a
to
book
it.
about it one time that they actually did a study on wise guys, people in that line of work, and their life expectancies, either because they went to jail or because they were whacked, were incredibly low. I think they all get like into their right where we are right now, into their mid-30s and so long.
Good
We're
one
in
to
that
last.
prime gangster age right now. Listen, and I'm very serious. If there's anybody out there listening to the show, I know that organized crime is big in many of the cities we broadcast to. Washington, Baltimore, Tampa, huge with the Mafia in Tampa. Cleveland, lots of Mafia in Cleveland. I don't know how in the Mafia is in Salt Lake. I know that they're very heavy in San Diego. I'd like to have a Mafia guy call the show.
I would say that you really have to, if we're going to have I want to talk to him before we put him on the air, because I could screen him. I could ask him questions that would definitely indicate whether he's... remember that one guy we had on?
Yeah, we had a guy one time. We were playing a game. Wasn't it a guy who worked for the FBI or something who had to...
Maybe he turned state's evidence. He was one of those guys. There are a lot of them.
It was a guy who had to whack his wife's brother. Isn't that what happened? The guy called us in one of our silly reindeer games.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo comes to mind.
There are going to be a lot of pretenders out there.
Oh, of course there will be. But who knows? Maybe we can get like a weekend gig. Fly in on the weekend and help these guys out. Not do any of the real bad stuff. Just be able to go to the dinners and wear the suits and drive in the cars.
That's where you're going to leave me behind right there. I'll tell you that.
You don't want the suits?
Oh, no. No need for the weekend gig. I like the fantasy. I like pretending. But
you know me. I want to make it happen now.
I know. You'd like to really be part of that.
Hi, Don and Mike Show.
It's where you're out of your friggin' mind.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
I've got a phone number I can give you.
And how did John Gotti get the crap beat out of him in jail? Hold off a second.
I had mentioned to you before the show that, to the best of my knowledge, at Marion, that maximum security prison of maximum security prisons,
Illinois,
they're behind bars for, I think, 24 hours a day. 23 and a half hours a day. I think they get a half an hour.
I think the meeting only took about 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that worries me. You know what that says to me? That says to me the mob not quite as powerful
but
as you would have thought, because I picture when John Gotti went to the prison, it would be like what they had in that movie Last Night in 1972 when he went to prison.
Right.
And like in Goodfellas when those guys go to prison, that they get their own special section and they just sit around and they slice up provolone cheese all day and they smoke cigars and they drink Chianti and they get their cigars and their women and their...
I'd like to know whether that's still happening for, I know with John Gotti, you've got a special circumstance there. They're putting him in Marion, which is the most secure penitentiary we have in this country. But I'd like to know at some of the other federal penitentiaries if they still, and what that was a result of, was they would sequester the members of organized crime. These guys would be separate from the rest of the inmates. They did that for a variety of reasons, and I wonder if that still happens today.
Does the Mafia have like a Big Brother program?
Like where you could, like
some
you
Mafia
could
guy could be my Big Brother.
Like an intern program, I think.
Hello?
Hello, Don?
Yes.
Not everybody in the Mafia either gets killed or goes to prison.
Well, I didn't say everybody, but I'll tell you, the statistics would bear out that a lot of guys, fall on hard times later on in their lives.
Are you in the mob?
I was. I'm retired.
You retired.
I thought they didn't let you retire.
No. That's just in the movies. Times have changed. There's plenty of us that are retired.
What city were you? What city were you in the mob in?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
What family were you associated with?
Nicky Scarfo was the boss.
He's right about that.
Is that one of the main guys?
Boss of Philadelphia also took care of Atlantic City, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Just listen to some of my Mafia music.
When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine.
But you might be retired, but you still have your contacts, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. We're family.
Their family.
Good pension? You never know. He's doing a good job so far.
This guy could be making it up just like I bet, in the right context, we could make it up.
Of course we could make it up.
We could be on the phone. We could pretend that we were in the Mafia.
Sure.
You like those movies? You like those Mafia movies?
Yeah, some of them.
They kind of glamorize your lifestyle. Do they glamorize it a lot? Would I be disappointed if some Mafia guy was to take me under his wing for a Big Brother program for the weekend? Would I be disappointed?
No, it's kind of like what you see in the movies. Some people are very sedate, laid back. They don't like a lot of exposure. And some people are like John Gotti. They wear the nice suits, get all the publicity, and like to, party and live it up.
Yeah, my foster dad, my foster mafia dad's got to be flashy.
And some guys are also homicidal maniacs, right?
Well,
I mean, you do get that element of guys that actually do enjoy killing people.
well, that's true. But if if you read the literature and see the movies, most of the stuff that is true, the people that get whacked are other people in the mafia. They don't go out to Nebraska and start killing people for no reason.
That's the thing. I couldn't kill anybody. Couldn't kill anybody.
You'd have to if you were going to be taken under somebody's wing.
I couldn't kill anybody, and there would have to be some kind of a rule that I was like immune from being killed.
Yeah.
Like when you play laser tag.
Well, see, if you were a made man, but you can't be made unless you're Sicilian, right?
It used to be that way, yes.
It's not that way anymore?
No.
Can you be made if you got a really hot radio show? If you got about 2 million listeners?
You probably don't know this, but there's a lot of us that listen to your show and love you guys.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
Hey.
You know why we share the same? We laugh at the same things.
They probably like the fact that we play those Goodfellas tapes all the time.
Absolutely. We don't have a social club like Mr. Gotti had in New York, but we do spend a lot of time in a country club, and on the PA system in the afternoon, we listen to your show.
Beautiful. All right. Love it. Listen, call anytime, my friend.
Hey, can I ask you one question before we let you go?
Yeah, sure.
Even though we know not who you are or anything like that, but did you ever do somebody in?
What are you, a priest?
That's the only person that'll know is the priest.
What are you, a priest? What, do I amuse you? Am I a clown? Love that. Okay, goodbye now.
All right.
Goodbye. I'd just like to say, for any kids listening, I was a very bad man on the show.
Mm-hmm.
A very bad man.
Yes.
Mobsters are bad.
Mobsters are bad.
Gangsters are bad.
Organized crime, bad.
Bad.
Very bad.
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 But won't one of you mobsters please be my mafia daddy?
I thought you were going to say my mommy.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, listen, Mike. I'll tell you one thing about the mob. Can't be a fag and be in the mob, okay? And I ain't no fag. Tell you that right now.
I'll give you a book. I'll give you a book that's got some of that in
No,
it.
see, I don't like reading the books. I don't see that. That's the difference between us. I like watching the movies, and it's all style with me.
Right.
You really want to read the books. See, if I read the books and I really knew how bad it was, I'm sure that I would have a distaste for it. But I love what I see on TV. I love the big cars. I love watching a guy getting away. Imagine that. You'd be parked across the street. You see Ken Stevens come out of this building some night. And some guy just, where's my sound? Some guy just, hey, Mr. Stevens.
Don Geronimo, mild-mannered disc jockey, but lurking beneath the surface, a homicidal maniac.
And I'd be sitting in the back of the car with Rob, and I'd go, oh, that's good. Hey, Rob, let's go to Carl's Jr. Let's get barbecue burgers.
Yes, Don. Good hit.
All right, I will change the subject.
All
okay?
right.
Enough of that. Enough of the John Gutt. Oh, God, we haven't done a commercial break yet.
Yeah, you better pay the bills, or, hey, if you're not a good provider, if you're not a good earner, you know what's going to happen.
No problem.
All right.
No problem. Mike the Bull. And me, I'm the big pussy godfather. And we'll be right back.
You've got the best of Don and Mike.